Oh, one more. Oh, welcome, YouTube pedal nerds. It's been almost 2 years now that I've been doing this channel, and thank you to everyone. Over 9,000 subscribers now in only 2 years. Which, yeah, for YouTube standards, that's peanuts, but for the pedal demo world, that's actually not bad. So I'm proud of what we've achieved together. Because in the beginning, I knew shit. I knew nothing. It started with me buying a Dynacomp because I wanted that ploppy kind of country hybrid picking sound, and people said, buy a Dynacomp. So, then I had a little bit of money left, and I said, hey, Thomann has these really cheap pedals, and I buy two. So I bought the Ultimate Drive and the American Sound. And I said, hey, these are really good, and I'm going to do a demo for it. And all of a sudden, people clicked on that demo and liked it. And that's how the whole thing started, and now I sit here talking to you as if I know shit about pedals. What I want to do is share a little bit of the experience and knowledge I've gained over the last 2 years, and I hope that there will be a lot more to learn. With those of you who are not aware of what I'm going to say. There's no script, I'm just going to wing it. Coffee. Get some coffee. So, there's obviously a lot of discussion and a lot of heated and sometimes not very polite discussion under my videos about Chinese pedals are crap. And buy American. Well, why not buy German? Why not buy French? Why not buy British? Just looked at Bigfoot Engineering. Rice Stubbs makes very, very good pedals, all done in England. You know, why be all American so good? Look at Gibson's, excuse me. Look at the Gibson factory video from Premier Guitar and tell me that they're making quality products. Really, do that. Premier Guitar did a killer job there. So anyway, I want to enlighten some of you about pricing structures and what's actually behind some of these pedals. And do you need to buy boutique? Do you need to buy cheap? Are cheap pedals crap? There is no direct and right answer to these questions. I'm gonna start here. We'll look at a very inexpensive Chinese pedal. I'm gonna put this over here so you can see it. This is from my friends at Joyo. And for those of you who have asked many, many times because I do so much Joyo stuff, am I being paid by Joyo? The answer is yes, as a consultant. I do videos, and the videos I do are very involved in terms of work, so they're gonna have to give me something for it, otherwise why would I do it? Some pedal companies that have more expensive pedals, they leave me the pedals, and very soon they're also gonna have to pay. So it really depends, but I also consult. I do translation work for manuals, I give my comments about amp designs and the looks and advertising campaigns, stuff like this, you know, the whole Mjolnir, all that, and I'm not doing it for free. But when it comes to the video and the demo, I cannot make something sound great that isn't. So they could pay me $1 million an hour, and I couldn't make a crappy pedal sound good. I can do a lot of things, I can produce it nicely, still, you'll also see it in my face. If I'm not having fun with the pedal, I'm fighting with it. And no video can make a shitty product sound good. So, and I will also tell you if I'm not really convinced of the product. I told them from the very beginning that I will never lie in my videos. That's all I can say to that, okay? Everyone on the level of the videos I do, look at Brett Kingman and Shane Diorio and all these people. Hi Brett, hi Shane. Very, very nice guys from Australia. Those guys know how to do pedal videos. We need to make a living. So it would be nice if I got paid for every video, and I'm not. So this is where I want to go. This is what I want to get happening, have those companies give me some dough for my work, and that's where you come in by clicking subscribe and getting me more subscribers so I have something to show them. So, we're looking at the vintage overdrive from Joyo. Usually it's about 29 bucks. Euro, pounds, dollars, let's just say 29. We're not going to go into any... They're pretty close now, okay? So, this is a Tube Screamer clone. We all know that. Is it bad to do a clone of a Tube Screamer? The pedal's been around so long, it's a staple now. It's kind of like saying my amp sounds British, therefore saying I went in the Marshall direction, and therefore saying it's a Marshall clone. You can't do that anymore. There's definitely pedals where you can say this is a 1-to-1 clone, but now a Tube Screamer is just, that's up for grabs, okay? Another thing I want to say is, sorry, talking about all these Chinese people clone all the time. Well, one job that I gave myself in consulting with Joyo is getting them away from just doing a straight, okay, I like what they've done, let's see if we can do this with cheaper parts, or if we can do this more effectively so we can offer it as a cheap pedal. I want to invent, I want to show you guys and the world that Joyo has the capacity, and the Chinese have the capacity, to do original products and make them sound great. And they can. And this is one of my goals, to get away from this stigma of cloning. But you know what? You probably didn't know this, but Moore and Joyo are related. Moore is the company of the wife of the owner of Joyo. So, she's got Moore, he's got Joyo. Now, Moore was the company, as far as I know, that started these mini pedals. I'll get back to this. Mini pedals. And now there's a mini pedal craze. Well, the guys from Moore, some people left and started Hot Tone and made them even smaller. And then there's a lot of people leaving companies, starting their own. But this whole tiny pedal craze came from China. And now, Ibanez Tube Screamer Mini. TC Electronic, or the mini version of the TC pedals. And then there's Fender doing mini pedals. Phosphase Mini. So mini being adopted, let's put it this way, by American and Japanese companies. Is anyone bitching about that? I don't know. Because it came from China. It started with this. Just saying, you know. So, here we got the Vintage Overdrive. I could go into electronics and how similar parts are and how cheap you can buy parts when you buy them in bulk. There's a great article that my friend Sarah Davis wrote, and I learned a lot about it, and she studied these. She took them all apart and compared one to the other and said there's only very small range of components and values that you're allowed to change before it sounds crappy. So you really can't go nuts with new designs. You can only twist them and tweak them a tiny bit. So this one's about 30 bucks. Now, is it shitty? The question is, how much would a Tube Screamer be? This is one of my main messages I want to get across. Why is it 30? Where is it 30? Is it 30 in the store? No, it is not. It is 30 at Thomann when it is rebranded as a Harley Benton pedal. You can also buy these as Eagle Tone, and in Latin America probably as something else. In America, US as something else. They rebrand them. Which means a company from the US buys thousands of pedals from Joyo and gets their name stamped on them. So you don't know that you actually own a Joyo pedal. But that means direct from China, no middlemen, and a lot of quantity, which means the price goes down. That's not the same distribution chain that a boutique pedal brand has, okay? So, but let's say you buy these on Amazon or eBay. 29 bucks. For that 29, you're buying it directly from a Chinese wholesaler who bought it from Joyo in a large quantity, okay? So, hundreds of thousands of pedals. And then they sell them all around the world on eBay and on Amazon. Now you buy it on eBay or Amazon, which means it's coming direct from the Chinese wholesaler. So they don't care about tax because it gets imported into your country. So when you buy too many of those and you cross a certain threshold of import value, whatever, you're going to pay customs or value added tax, VAT. So you're going to have to add that to it. But let's say you only order one pedal. You're getting it for 29 because it's coming directly from the Chinese wholesaler who only added his X% to the price he purchased it for. Let's say he's buying it for maybe $9. So you're saying, hey, $11, I can make no, actually not. $21, I can make $21 on this. And bam, he does that. Makes $21, and he's happy because it's a lot of money for just reselling the pedal. But if you want to get this in the store here, that means it's going to have to come to your country in a shipping crate. So there's some shipping, okay? And then, of course, in your country, here in Germany, we would have to add 19% tax to the price of this. And how does it get in the store? If you want it in every store so you can actually, play with it and test it out, like these more pedals, or many of the pedals, MXR, whatever. Well, how it gets into the store is a distributor. So there's some guy in Germany, or wherever you are, who buys them, not thousands of them, a few hundred. And he knows the stores, he knows the guys, hey, I got some cool Joy pedals, you want them, okay, But he's got to purchase them, he's got to buy them. Now he's got advertising in his country to do, designing ads, placing ads, internet, all that stuff, social media, so that's work. So he wants to be paid for that, and he's got storage facilities somewhere, he needs to pay for that. So he's going to add his money to this pedal. He wants probably, I don't know, maybe $20 a pedal. And then he gets it to the store. And the store owner says, well, I have all this expense here with my guys showing the pedal and all this. I want to make money on this. So they add another $20 that they want to make on the pedal. And up to that, let's say it was $9. Now we're already at $49. Plus shipping, plus some details. Let's say flat $50. And he wants to make, and now we have to add the VAT, the value added tax. Now, let's say 20%. So we're already at $60, euro, whatever. So we've already just doubled the price for this pedal that is actually 29. So did the pedal just get better? That is the fucking question you have to ask yourself. Did it just get better? Did the parts get better? Did the foot switch get better? Is it, better? Is the color different? No. We've just made it into the store so that you can actually go into your local store and test it out. Check it out. So what as a lot of Chinese brands and Chinese cheap crap, what you call this, it is cheap partially and probably primarily because there's a lot of direct shipping and buying through eBay and Amazon and these places and rebranding going on. And that's why they're so dirt cheap. Now, let's get rid of this. Let's look at the Moore pedal. Okay? Here we have a delay. I think it's about 79. Now we're not at 29 anymore. Why is this 79? I can tell you for a fact that the purchasing price for this is not in any way higher than the purchasing price for the other pedal. But those are in the store. So that means there's a distributor. They want to make money. They're getting it into the country, shipping. They are adding the tax. They're getting it into the store. So this I can actually test in many, many stores. But the result of that is you're going to pay more money. You're going to pay the distributor. You're going to pay the store owner. You're going to pay your country in taxes, as you should. So that's why this pedal is ridiculously more expensive than the other one. In terms of quality control, in terms of build power, and build quality, everything, it's pretty much on the same level. Okay? Well, now we got Donner. Oh, look at that! Don't they look similar, There's a lot of stuff going on in China. So Donner is a company, it's a Chinese wholesaler, probably sitting in Hong Kong somewhere. And they sold, and they still sell, a lot of Chinese brands. The brands that are okay with being resold by Donner for a ridiculously low price. That means Donner, again, buys thousands of pedals and ships them direct, for free, shipping free, directly from China. And then they said, hey, we can make our own pedals, that's easy. Now, they are so ridiculously similar that I'm thinking, I mean, everything, look, everything about them. That I'm thinking it might just be that Moore's actually manufacturing the donor pedals on their day off or something. Not sure about this. They're definitely incredibly similar. But these are being sold very, very, very low because they're not dealing with distribution, they're not dealing with taxes or anything. They're bringing them directly onto Amazon and eBay and their donor store, donordeal.com. Which means they can sell the pedal for 25 bucks. If they only spend $6 making it, they've made, 19, is that right? Yeah. And you're good. But they're not dealing with the distributor and all that stuff. Which also means after-sales service, guarantee and warranty, is an issue for these things that you buy directly online through Amazon and eBay and they come from China. Are you capable of bitching to the Chinese, shipping it back and all that stuff? I mean, how do you do warranty? Which is where a distributor comes in, because the distributor actually is there for you in your country and takes care of you. So, in terms of quality, we still haven't made a big comment about that. Okay? Let's look at some more cheaper ones, okay? Sweet Baby Joyo Series 2. Very nice pedal. I got no issues with it. It works, it sounds great. Probably about 35 bucks. Can't buy it anywhere without distribution. I mean, without going to Amazon and eBay, because it's not being distributed. That's what happens when you guys want your pedals way too cheap. The result is that you're going to have to resort to Amazon and eBay because there's no store or distributor in your country buying them. If you actually want the ability to go into a store and put your foot on it and try it and find out if it's good, you're going to have to fork over more money because there's more people in the chain that want the money. Okay? So we look at MXR. Now what makes an MXR pedal more expensive? I think this is about 89 bucks. It's a very simple concept. Well, when you're putting it in your hand, you immediately feel, it's really heavy. So it's a different material than the Joyo pedals. Okay, I give them this. Are there higher quality products in there? Are there higher quality components? Whatever, the little cable doohickeys and the jacks and the switch, the transistors, the parts, are there higher quality? This is very, very likely made in China. So what's the deal? Well, with the Chinese company determines what elements and components they use. And a lot of times, because it's money that they want to make, they might pick value components, let's put it this way. And MXR, even though it's made in China, but they've got the oversight. They're saying use this, this, and this, because we want a certain level of quality. But that doesn't mean that there's a different build quality behind it. It simply means that the quality of the components might, only might, be higher. I don't know about this stuff, but it's possible. But the reason why this is 89 in the store, we've just talked about. Because there's an MXR distributor, which I think in Germany is Warwick. And there's the store and the tax and all this, which for a direct from China pedal, you don't pay. And that is the primary reason why there's about 50 bucks in between. Not necessarily the actual quality, and even more importantly, the sound. What the fuck do I care if the transistor is cheaper or of lower quality if it just sounds good? Okay? That's really the bottom line. Let's look at my friends from Carl Martin. Carl Martin, Custom Shop 50. Nice. So here we got the DC drive. It immediately shines. It's a very nice paint job. It's quality pot. Everything. Shut up back there. Everything just says, hey, this is neat, okay? When you turn around, you can't see this. Made in China. Okay? I think it's 120 bucks. Now, 120 bucks to me suggests that the components might be slightly better, but we're talking about cents per component here. We're not talking about, hey, they're putting 20 bucks more into the pedal. Absolutely not. Karl Martin obviously has a reputation, and their oversight is controlling the manufacturing in China, and they're giving their specs and saying, we want that quality, we want those components. But I'm thinking compared to a direct from China manufactured and designed their pedal, the components are not ridiculously more expensive. It might just be, obviously, they want to be paid for their ingenuity. They want to be paid for them designing. R&D, research and development, takes money. They have, of course, a higher upkeep cost here in Denmark with advertising, with all that stuff. So, instead of being 29, being direct from China, instead of being 89, we're looking at a couple bucks more. I assume it might be slightly better components, but again, the price is higher because you're buying a European company, made in China. Bottom line, what does it sound like? That's always the Knackpunkt. Der Knackpunkt, as we say in German. That's the deciding factor. And if the Karl Martin pedal gives you the feeling of having bought a European designed pedal that sounds exactly like what you want, then this is the right thing for you. It's still not super boutique, it's 125 or something. Now, of course, if you go to the Karl Martin Pro line, as far as I understand, they're actually made in Denmark. Now, what does it change about the build quality? Are we saying Chinese people can't build shit? It really doesn't mean that. But they have higher cost in manufacturing here, they have higher cost in living, so I have 3 of the Pro pedals. They are nice. The components are probably better. Also, the Pro pedals from Karl Martin, which is very unique, they have their own power supply built in, so maybe that's a bad example. Here, Karl Martin friends, we got T-Rex. Now, this is a bad example because this is not a high-priced T-Rex pedal. Thomann, again, bought a shitload of them for their 60th anniversary. And they're selling them for 79 and 89 bucks. For a T-Rex pedal. That's completely crazy. How is that even possible? Well, we eliminated the distributor, I'm pretty sure. Because it's made in China, designed by T-Rex. But T-Rex wants to make some money, and then it's going directly to Thomann. So there's no distributor in between. That means one person less to take their 20 bucks. That also means a good 4 bucks less in, 20% on the 20 bucks in taxes. So Thomann's able to sell this for under 100. I'm not sure T-Rex likes that because it devalues all the other pedals. It makes T-Rex look like a cheaper company. And I wouldn't be happy about that if Thomann was gonna, wreck the price a bit. But is this factually better than a Joyo Donner hot tone mobile pedal? You tell me. I know it's nice, but I don't really go to it as much as I go to other pedals. Let's stay with some Chinese pedals here. Here we got a Mobile Minotaur. Heavier than their competition, more. Right now they're on Thomann, they sell for 59 and 69 bucks. Nice build quality, relatively heavy. There's a little bit jiggery, as my friend Marcus Quenzel said. It's not the... Bottom line, all the mobile pedals sound great. Very usable, sound great, good build quality, made in China. All I can say to that. Why are they only 59.69? Well, Mobile is now selling directly to Thomann, no distributor in the middle. If we had a distributor in the middle, we'd probably be looking at, instead of 69, we'd be looking at 89 or 99. So is a 99 euro pedal with a distributor in the middle higher build quality? No, it's the same thing. You understand that now? The more people you put in the middle, the more money you'll pay for the pedal, the more you think the pedal is worth, and the better you think it's gonna sound. Whereas in reality, you're just paying all these middlemen. And we should pay the middlemen, even for the Chinese pedals, because otherwise we don't have the luxury of actually getting them in front of our feet. Moving on. Here, an amazing series. Amazing! Seriously, I know, we talked about Joyo, I'm getting paid by them, blah, 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 blah. Most of the Iron Man pedals, and we got almost 30 of them now, and I'm gonna develop some more with them. I want a Univibe, I want a phase and a flanger, I want some cool shit. Like an octave first, we need some cool stuff there. So, these are extremely cool, they're definitely unique. This flappy design is Joyo's idea. The controls are good. The Iron Man pedals are great. And you'd likely spend 59 bucks for them. That means with the distributor, all this. Now, Thomann has rebranded them. They look slightly different. Slightly different shape. Some names are different. And they're selling them for 39 bucks. That is freaking ridiculous. Now, what does it mean? It means, yes, you're getting the same pedal. Packaging isn't that nice, but who cares? But you're only going to spend 39 bucks. But Thomann only rebranded 11 out of the 30 we have. Okay? So, that means you only have access to those 11. The others are very unlikely to appear here in Germany on the market, because what distributor would take a line of pedals where they can only take, where 11 of them cannot be sold, because they are not buying the quantities that Thomann's buying, and they're not getting the deal that Thomann's getting at those quantities, and they have to add what they want to make, and then they're probably at 39, and what the store wants to make, and then you add another 20, and you add the tax, so we're at 59 or 69 bucks. I'm saying there should be 79 and 89, so that everyone can make their share of the money, and that all you guys can go to a store and have the luxury of actually putting your foot on the pedal and testing it. And they're absolutely worth, 80 or 90 bucks. Absolutely. But with the situation right now, Thomann has 11 of them, and the other ones are nowhere to be seen, except Amazon and eBay direct from China. And we've talked about the negative aspects of that. You couldn't return it and all that stuff. Also, you haven't, tested it. So, I really love these. They're actually great. Out of all the 30, I'm thinking there's maybe 4 or 5 where I'd say, yeah, don't need it. It'll find some fans, but the others are absolutely great pedals at a ridiculous price. So we're going to go a little bit into some boutique stuff. AC Plus Exotic Effects. Exotic. Great company, They have their reputation. The AC Plus is €250. Why? So now we're way past the 100. We're into the 200s. Why is it? Are the components really this much more expensive? Well, of frickin' course not. But you have a name, Exotic, US. Please correct me, but I'm thinking probably made in China. With the oversight of Exotic, of course. But they've earned their name. They had to work hard. They had to design pedals that became classics on the market. The BB preamp, AC, RC booster. Exotic has worked hard to earn their place in the market, and therefore they can ask for a little bit more. That's okay. They put slightly better components in there. Okay, the 250. Now, of course, if Exotic wants 70 or 80 bucks for the pedal, well, then the distributor says, well, I don't want 20 for that, like on a Chinese pedal. I want 40. And then the store says, I want to make 40 on that, if the distributor makes 40 on it. So where are we? 80, we're already at 160. Probably a little bit more than that. Everyone makes a little bit more. Then you add the tax. Bam. 250 bucks. So the more the pedal is, the more the distributor and the more the store wants to make on it. So it's kind of an exponential rise in price for the pedal. What does Exotic make? Less than half of what it's in the store for. Okay? Does this sound better than pedals that are half the price or a quarter of the price? Does it sound in any way better? To me, and that's really just me, not at all. It's nice, it's creamy, it's got nice mids, it's got definitely its own character, but I don't use it nearly as often as other pedals, including Chinese pedals. So, let's go to, we're gonna get to the really boutique stuff in a bit. We had Exotic, now we got Love Pedal. Love Pedal is not quite as big as Exotic, it's more nerdy, pedal nerdy, a little bit of a unique position in the market. This very simple pedal, the Super Elite, is about 190 bucks, or 180 or 179 or something. I see things wrong with it, personally. I think that this is directly on the board, and it's not anchored in any way. I don't like this. This thing, it has just a slit in it. It's very hard to see in any way where it is. It's a good pedal. Is it better than a 30-euro Joyo pedal? I have Joyo pedals that can do what this does. It's good. It's a good pedal. Is the build quality higher? Cannot tell you. But I know that you hear the name Love Pedal and you think, oh, that's boutique. Is it made in the US? Someone told me Love Pedal is made in China. Someone said that. Talking about made in China, Electro Harmonics made in NYC. Really? Made in New York City, Electro Harmonics? You really think that? Well, tell me I'm wrong, please. Now, even more boutique than Love Pedal to me is Jetta. Now, Jetta is definitely made in the US by Brad Jetta. I'm not sure if now, because he's got pedals like the GS124 and the Train Drive, which are very, very popular. I don't know if he's hired some people to help him. This is made in the US by a guy in his garage. It's 240 euro. It's a great, great pedal. Obviously, you can lift it, you feel the build quality is good, it's great. You open it, it's got a PCB inside, a circuit board. It is a great sounding pedal, and Brad's products are absolutely as good as it gets when it comes to pedal. The build quality, the components, all that stuff. Again, the price of 240 isn't what he gets. It's what the distributor wants, the store wants, the tax, which of course, the higher the price of the pedal, the higher the taxes. And the factual price of this, don't compare a 30 euro Joyo pedal with a 240 euro Jetta pedal. Compare the 30 euro Joyo pedal, where only one person or one guy in between made their money. Compare that to, let's say, the 140 euro pedal. That's what we're looking at, okay? We're looking at 30 to 140, not 30 to 240. You kind of understand where I'm going? Does it sound better? I love it, okay? Better? Worse? I can take a Joyo pedal and get great results. I can take this and get great results. Yeah, so much for that. Now we're talking about smaller and more new, which is more new is newer. We got the Blue Brit from MP Audio from Australia. Matthew Pennycook, his first pedal. Now what I like about this is, and this is really what you're paying for. You're paying for experience, you're paying for development, which of course in China, they can go, take this, open it, rebuild it, make it cheaper. Now, what you pay for when you're looking at the Jetta pedal, for example, is years of experience. Brad Jetta built Bedrock amps. He's talked to many, many people. I mean, Aerosmith played Bedrock back in the days, many other people, so he knows tone, and he's got the ear for it. frankly, the Chinese know how to open and look at it. There's very few people who actually have ears. I mean, at Joyo, we've got Terry and we've got some great engineers who have ears. We have some, they're not even guitar players. And that's one of the issues with Chinese companies, not the build quality. Okay? Here, Blackheart amps, made in China. Amazing. Designed by a Russian who lived in the US. Okay? But it's their ability to judge whether it's good or not, and whether that component they can save on, or that component actually they should spend some money on. If they got help with that, like from Carl Martin, or from T-Rex, or from a great engineer within the Chinese company, no issue. Now someone like Matthew, he designs and he sends it out. Now this one has a little bit of a hum and buzz going on, and we told him, you know, Shane from In the Blues and I, we told him, and he went ahead and fixed it. And now he's pumping out a couple of prototypes. But he doesn't go like, okay, it's done, I sell it now. He sends it to me, he sends it to Shane, gets ideas from you who listen to the videos we make about the prototypes. And he develops. And obviously that is time, and time is money. So this is what you pay for in these pedals. Okay? Which brings me to another story. Where do I put this? VFE pedals. Hand built with care near Seattle. I love that. Bumfuck nowhere, Seattle, USA. Now, Peter von Rudder, is a complete pedal nerd. Well, first of all, this is extremely high quality. It's a tri-band distortion with so many trim pots inside that you would go crazy when you see it. The demo's coming soon, the triumvirate. And VFE pedals are very unique. Now, in the store, they will cost you, let's say, a flat €200, pounds. Which means there's a distributor making money, there's a store making money, and there's a tax. Peter is incredibly smart. He knows that he could make more money selling them directly. Obviously, having the pedals a certain color, like this incredible pink, will make them memorable to you guys. And if you see a BB preamp from Exotic, you know immediately that it's a BB preamp because it's got the color, the shape, and all this. And we want people to recognize our designs. Now, Peter said, okay, that's very important, but what if I could make 3 times the money on the same pedal? So he had an incredible program a website where all of his pedals can be ordered with one of probably 100 different knobs, LEDs, different kind of switches, colors. You can even put a different graphic on it. You can do your whole pedal in the look that you want. And it's very cool. It means a little bit more work for him to build this custom pedal, but he gets the sale directly at no extra cost to the customer, no extra cost the store price. That means Peter gets $200 directly instead of selling it to distributor, to the store, blah 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 blah. So he makes a lot more money selling the pedals because he sells direct. And you want to support people like this because Peter is crazy. Let me tell you a little bit story about him. I follow him on Facebook, and VFE pedals took off rather quick. I think only 2006, 7 or something like this, maybe shorter than that. I think 2009, whatever. He did some DIY pedals and sold them on eBay. And people loved him. And then he got feedback and said, oh, how about this? How about you do this? And it doesn't have enough high end, and it's buzzing, whatever. And then he improved them. And that's how he ended up with the lineup of VFE pedals that you now see on his website. And he loved this back and forth with the customer. Now that VFE pedals is distributing, it's supporting him, as soon as he has a new pedal, Pro Guitar Shop or whoever is buying here, I want 50 of that, I want 100 of that. He doesn't have the luxury anymore of trying new shit. I mean, shit that really might be a bad pedal, you know, because he's trying crazy ideas. He's a really crazy motherfucker. So he didn't want that. As soon as he had a prototype, some store saw a little video of it and said, I want it, and ordered 50 of them. But it wasn't ready. So Peter, now parallel to VFE, started a new Facebook site and a new little company where he does on the side to VFE manufacturing, does fun rudder effects. The way it started on eBay years ago. And just last week, he came up with 10 new pedal designs and built them and put them on eBay. He's doing exactly what he used to do before. Put them on eBay, starting price $1. And people buy them. Now, of course, they know they're good. And he puts them out there. He just made a crazy 3 parallel delay thing with individual loops, a crazy analog pedal. And sold it. Says, I'm building 5, get yours now, $349. Sold them on eBay, and now he gets feedback from you guys. And that is such a great way to do it. He's developing the pedals with the musicians who test them in live situations and studio situations and really give him the feedback that he needs. Now this is why these pedals are $200. Because he puts in the work, and he's a crazy professor in his little shop, coming up with one idea after another, and you really know the shit. So you pay for the experience, the testing, and that you know in the end, if it turns into a VFE pedal, it's run its paces, it's run through a gauntlet of tests, and that is what you pay for. You also, of course, pay for made in the USA, near Seattle, by one guy, okay? Does it mean that it has to be 200? You decide that. I think for these pedals, and just the ingenuity of him, you should. But you can also buy a Chinese pedal. They will not do what these do. VFE is very unique in the sense that these are not clones of anything. If he goes and does his own version of the Tube Screamer, it has 3 more knobs and 5 trim pots so that you can do stuff that no Tube Screamer can do, okay? And then let's look at another thing. Mass-produced? Don't know. But why are Strymon pedals so fucking expensive? Well, made in the USA, I know this. I know the guys from Strymon, I've done translations for them. I know my friend Pete Chaley from back in the days when he was with Damage Control, and I actually helped Pete Chaley and Lucian 2 produce 2 of the first demo videos they had. So I was actually in pedal demoing in 2005, I think, without actually knowing it. Now, the very special thing about these is there is incredible R&D, research and development. The programming that goes into this requires someone who has incredible ears, knows how to play guitar, knows all the classic gear, especially for the El Capistan, sits down with a real tape delay or several tape delays and finds out what makes them tick. Knows how to put it into code. There's a big processor in there. It runs 32-bit, 32, one of those, 96K. These are developed so that they make incredible sense for the guitar player. Expression control, stereo, no menus. All these knobs that you see have 2 different controls. When you push both in, it becomes a secondary control. Yes, right now they're clocking in at €330, and the big ones at almost 500. But you pay for build quality, but you also pay for ingenuity. Okay, you might not pay for what's in there and the actual materials and the manufacturing. You pay for someone who sat there for a year listening to tape delays and trying to figure out how to do this with code in the digital world and still sound exactly like the old thing. And they are expensive, but they are among the best of their kind right now on the market. So if you want to spend less money, that's your deal. But when it comes to effects, digitally done, emulating the good old stuff that we love and being very creative about it, especially when you like the timeline and the Mobius. They have effects that are very creative and can get you stuff that no other effect can. So they're expensive, but this is not necessarily something where you find any equivalent in any Chinese company. I would love to be able to help the Chinese companies develop their own digital effects and find a DSP programmer. If you're an amazing DSP programmer who knows their shit and knows guitar effects, write me a comment and maybe we can talk and maybe we can develop some cool pedals together. Maybe be competitionist Ryman? Pretty damn hard. That's what she said. Yeah. Now we look at the small guy. We look at this stupid ass face here. When we talk about boutique, what does boutique mean? Jeddah. Yes, that's boutique. Exotics. Love pedal. Those are boutique pedals. Yet, are they point-to-point wired? What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. Remember, Ibanez had the Tube Screamer hardwired for €349? It's just a fucking Tube Screamer, but instead of using a circuit board, which is just a piece of thing, some kind of material, that has the connections between certain points printed on it. So instead of pulling wires from one transistor to the other, I always call them transistors, or from the jack or the switch, instead of pulling individual wires, there's a circuit board that has all the connections made. So you put the components on, but the connections are already printed on there, which is of course an easier way to do it. Does that sound worse or not as good as cables? I don't think so. But that's the way that now pedals are made, and that's fine. But back in the days, it was hardwired, meaning there was actually little cables going from one to the other. Things were maybe mounted on a board, but it was still done with little cables. And Ibanez had the hardwired Tube Screamer 350. Did it really sound better? No idea. Now, what we're looking at here are actually pedals that are made in this way. There's someone sitting there with a soldering iron, soldering these things by hand. Even the chassis, it's lightweight aluminum. It's just two pieces of aluminum that go into each other. And it's handmade. Nice jack right there. This is from my good friend Milos Popovic. Milos Popovic, I love saying that. In Serbia. And this is the guy you want. This is a guy who sits there just like Peter von Rutter and twiddles around with things. And he does it, Peter does it now as a living because it just happened that way because people love this stuff. Milos is flying fighter jets for the Serbian army and he comes home and he fiddles around with pedals because he's a pedal nerd. He's one of fucking us. So he plays around with it and I did some demos for his stuff and now he does more and more and people discover that these are great. In the beginning he said he wanted €45 for this, including worldwide shipping. Now, there's no box, there's no manual, there's nothing. It comes wrapped in a ball of newspaper, okay? This is a guy who does it for fun. Now, a student of mine ordered one and I found out he's smartened up and he wants €95. Obviously, no tax added, no distribution, no store. Now, if he put that in the store with tax and everything, everyone makes their money. We're talking about 200, and he should be paid 200 in the store. It's completely handmade by one guy, point to point wired. Okay, but obviously, if you buy it directly from him, he's hey, $95 including shipping. Insane deal. Get yourself one. But he wouldn't be able to hold that price if he was going to get it, let's not say mass produced, but he got it into, some upscale stores. How would he? He wants his 95, let's say 90 shipping. Let's say 90, well then, how do you get in the stores? You deal with the stores directly. Okay, so the store adds their $50, and then we add 140, and then you add another $30, so you add 170. Okay? If we're dealing with the distributor, bam, $200. That's where we get the loft pedal price. But this is completely handmade by someone who does it for the love of making pedals. You have to support these guys. The best thing that could happen to us, to get someone like Milos to develop pedals, to make them with love, to sell a couple just like Peter does, communicate with us players, help him find out what you want. I said we need a second switch, bang, there's a second switch. Someone said, okay, they want only one that has the tube screamer side, but with more EQ controls, bam, he had 2 EQ controls. So develop it with us, and then, because he couldn't fulfill thousands of orders, find a Chinese company like Joyo, communicate with them, and find out how to make this type of quality, this type of pedal, in a mass-produced way. What components can we save on? What components have to be better? And how can we make this thing a mass-produced pedal at obviously a fraction of the cost as it would be when he makes it completely by hand? Which means we're looking at production cost of 30, 40, maybe 30, and then in the store we can actually buy this with distribution and everything, roughly for the same price that he's making it now, but in the store, with distribution and everything in between. He's got another crazy one that I haven't made a video of here. That's the modulus delay. And here you can see the MIG that he first flew years ago. And this is a really cool analog, fully analog delay with modulation section, switchable. Beautiful build quality, and there's nothing more handmade than these things. I mean, you literally can see the, that he cut out the chassis and everything. It's just, always, you open it up, on the inside it says, for Henning with a date on it, handwritten. This is nice, okay? We want our cheap Chinese pedals, but we also want this, Why not the best of both worlds? Same thing, I'm gonna end with this. When you look at these guys. Mark's Workhoff, Sound. This is so cool. The little funny, can you see that little funny guy there? This is all, I think, like laser cut into copper. Is this copper? It's not copper, it's goldy. These have such a cool steampunk design. This is a high voltage boost. Very cool pedals. Shane demoed them. And I will too. I have 4 of them now. I've got the Overzoid 1, Overzoid 2, GE Fuzz, and the high voltage boost, which no one has so far. I'm hopefully going to be one of the first to demo this. They are from Belgrade. And he's another guy, just like Peter and Milos, that we want to support. Because he fiddles around, does his own design, his very unique look. Saves on painting them, but makes them look very, very cool with the gold, and it's just an absolutely unique look and a great sound. You open them, you see everything point to point. This is as boutique. It doesn't get more boutique. It doesn't get more boutique than one guy figuring out what sounds good, making them completely by hand, and putting love and tiny details into every individual pedal. Let's look at the Overzoid 2, which is, compared to the Overzoid 01, it's got a built-in 24 volt upscaling thing. Just look at the detail here on the... And in the video you will see pictures from the inside. It's crazy. It's really... Look at the giant crystal that's going to light up blue. There's a 3-way switch. This is very, very, very nice. And I think he sells these for $200. If he got bigger and he tried to get into stores, 2 things would have to happen. Just to reiterate again so you get it. A, in the store this would be $400. Why the fuck $400? Well, if Mark wants his $200, and the distributor says, oh, this is a $200, I'm paying $200. Well, then I want to make 80 to 90. And then the store says, I paid $280, I want to make 80. This is a high quality pedal. And then you add tax, and that's how you end up at a ridiculous price for a pedal that you probably wouldn't spend. Look at Zevex. or Zevex, or however you say that. They're very expensive, similar size and stuff. Why? Well, they probably want their money for it, so it stacks up. So either in the store they would be at a price that you don't want to pay, or Mark would have to say, instead of 200, well, if it's 200 in the store, let's do the calculations. 200 means 40 euro in value added tax. So we're at 160. The store wants, let's say, 40. The distribution wants 40. Now we're looking at 80 that Mark can make. 80. Now he's making 200 direct sales. If you got these in the stores, which he should, okay, make a real living with it, make loads of them, then we're talking about he can only make 80. Or they're going to have to raise the price. What does it tell you about pedals and the prices? Is a pedal worth what you pay for it? No. Unless you follow the distribution channel and how many people are in between and how much tax you pay for it, you don't actually know the real manufacturing cost for the pedal that you're interested in. And when you want to look at the quality of the pedal, what you should be looking at is the pure manufacturing cost. Now, what about how it sounds? Well, you're going to have to look at who's behind it and how much did they want for developing it. Strymon over there, okay? They're expensive because a lot of development and research went into them. VFE, very, very unique pedals, incredibly unique concepts, and a lot of time and heart goes into finding new things for us to play with. And you have to pay for this. So it's not enough to say, it's the same components as this, so therefore, why is it so expensive? I'm not advocating Chinese pedals are insanely great, and I'm not saying boutique pedals are stupidly priced. What's the bottom line? The bottom line is, it doesn't matter how much the pedal is. That's the truth. If you can find something that you love for 30 bucks, buy it. I would hope that you'd rather spend the 50 bucks and buy it from your local store. Because you know what? A, we need the local stores. B, you're helping those companies that you like to buy the pedal from to make it easier to get distribution. Because if the pedals are priced higher, we have a chance to get a distributor and get a store. No one's interested, no distributor and no store is going to be interested in a pedal for 30 bucks. It's unsellable. So you would support the companies that you like if you spend a little bit more money at a local store. But if you're okay just buying a pedal that sounds like some other pedal, maybe with cheaper parts, but it sounds as good, then do that. If you want to support someone who's crazy and has cool ideas and does it all by hand, do that. It doesn't mean the pedal sounds better. It might mean better parts, it might mean hand-wired, it might mean crazy ideas and research and development in it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to get you a greater sound. The pedal sounds as good as it sounds. And you're going to get the sound of it that you're going to get out of it. And boutique doesn't sound better or cleaner than cheap. Cheap sometimes sounds pretty bad. Boutique sometimes sounds very open and detailed. Cheap sometimes does. Boutique sometimes sounds really stupid and horrible. Really depends on what you're looking at. So, if it sounds good to you, it doesn't matter who made it, and it doesn't matter how much it is. Sometimes you're going to have to spend a lot of money to get what you want. Sometimes you spend $100 and you get your ugly face on it. And sometimes you spend $240 and you have an amazing pedal that you love and you feel good about it because you have spent some money and you feel good about it. And sometimes you spend more than that. There's no reason to bitch about Chinese crap unless you've played it and you found out that it's crap. You can find an electro-harmonics pedal made in China that's crap. You can find an American pedal that is not so good, really. I think you get my point. Thanks for staying with me. No idea if this did anything, if this helped. This is just what I found out in the last 2 years, learning about how prices are made, where companies manufacture, what they do. I have here now over 300 pedals, from the cheapest of the cheap to the most boutique stuff, hand-built out there. There's some that I love, some that I never use. On to more fun things now. Have a good one. Please start your bitching session underneath, and I'd love to hear what you think about the whole situation. Mwah.